So, okay, so next speaker, Oscar, I guess straight from New York, if I got it right.
That's right.
Perfect.
Hi, Magnus.
Hi, good to see you. And I didn't mention anything, just, you know, I didn't mention anything when Tobias was speaking about potential announcements and stuff. So I don't dare to go that way. So if anybody wants to announce anything in this show, you can do that. But, you know, I haven't ruled anything. Okay. Take it away, Oscar.
So, thank you very much. So we'll save that cliffhanger to the end here. Hang on a minute. Get the right presentation up for you. I think that's the one. Yes.
Yes.
Right. Good business, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So thank you. I'm from MTEK. We bring a product called mBrain to market, which is, as far as we know, the only no-code manufacturing execution platform in the world. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about what no-code manufacturing is and why you should care. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the product itself and the features and the functions, but rather on why this is something that's increasingly important to companies in general, but manufacturing companies in particular. So I'll start with a bit of a quote, as I sometimes do on these occasions. And today goes like, and this is true, I think, for all aspects of life, not just manufacturing, but it's not what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you think you know that just ain't so. And this is true in manufacturing in particular, because a lot of the really, really important information that is important for improving your products and processes are typically trapped on Post-it notes, on pieces of paper, on whiteboards, or in Excel sheets. And it's really, really difficult to get a grasp of what's going on inside of the fundamental processes. Also, the backdrop here is that, and you've all seen graphs like this before, the technology adoption cycles just getting shorter and shorter. And this is going up to 2017. It doesn't really matter what technology we put in, it's going to look roughly the same. Which of course means that the product life cycles are getting shorter because they're more rapidly getting replaced by something else. This example happens to be from the semiconductor industry, but it doesn't really matter what example you bring up, it's going to look roughly similar. So 5 years ago, product life cycle was 5 to 7 years. Today, it's 3 to 5 years. And the revenue peak is 1 year shorter than it used to be. And this puts a lot of strain on the design of products, the manufacturing of products, how quickly you want to bring them to market. As Magnus mentioned, nobody is missing what's happening with green industry, in electrification, in energy storage. We have new participants entering these markets and other markets much more quickly than we used to. Sweden is a great example of that, with all of the new companies that have been popping up for the last 3, 4, 5 years. Of course, we also have new customer demands and expectations on what kind of data we report in this context, and also requirements from governments and other stakeholders on how we report and what we report. Last but not least, data and digitization and data monetization is becoming increasingly important in, just get you guys out of the way here so I see what I'm doing, in manufacturing just like everywhere else. Today, we're increasingly running hyper-integrated systems. We're seeing a convergence of IT and OT. If you don't know what that means, that's the IT side of things and the machines that are on the shop floor. That's the OT. We're seeing labor shortages in many markets. We're also seeing a new generation of team members coming into the factory floor that have different expectations on the tools they're going to be working with, including the IT support. We also have different expectations and evolving expectations from the customer base. They're looking and expecting much more sophisticated tools for monitoring quality, making sure this stuff is arriving on time, etc. And of course, digitization is also sort of enabling new business models as a service, product as a service in different kinds. For instance, where having access to the lifetime information and data on your products is becoming increasingly important. There we go. But data isn't really worth anything in itself. it needs to be put in the right context and made available to the right people at the right time. And to do this without creating too much cost, modularity in the system is key. And this is kind of what MTEK does. And this is why we were recognized by Fast Company late last year as the next big thing in tech. Because with the software, we provide the software needed to run a modern day factory and integrate this into a single system that can analyze each element of the manufacturing process to make it more efficient. And this is really the key, to make it more efficient. So we provide a single source of truth. There are many, many aspects that are relevant to manufacturing a product or improving a process. You probably want to integrate data from your ERP systems, from a PLM system, from machines, everything from predictive maintenance to asset management, schedule, etc. You need your process data, your product data. You probably have data from your test equipment. You might want to extend this upstream to your suppliers to make sure that you're being provided with components of the right quality and at the right time. You might want to use data downstream to incorporate the information on how your product is performing in the field. How is the customer using it? How can we use this to improve our product design and improve our competitive position in the market? You probably want to have team member training in there, such that when you have a higher staff turnover, when you're bringing in new team members, or building a new factory in another part of the world, to make sure that you're incorporating the skill level of the people on the shop floor. You probably have safety and incident reporting, increasingly important, as well as the ESG reporting we talked about a moment ago. And of course, last but not least, the people in the factory will always be the most important asset. And regardless of how quickly things are changing, you still want to run your continuous improvement cycles. So why do we then benefit from having a no-code platform in this context? Well, time to value. It's faster to deploy, and that's great, but you only do that once. So more importantly, it's faster to respond to customer needs. And as we just saw, the life cycles are getting shorter. We're changing the design of our products and our processes much more quickly than we used to. So it needs to be nimble to adapt to changes that way. It needs to be hardware agnostic. We're running an environment, almost all of us, that is a mix between old machines, new machines, people. We need to integrate all of this in one place. And as we're growing, we need to be able to cater to that multi-site complexity. So we want a system that is as modular and as easy to deploy as what most of the new niche vendors can provide, but still able to cater to enterprise complexity that the large established vendors on the market can cater to. And in summary, this is what we do. We provide a manufacturing system that can be adapted by the press of a button or drag and drop. We do this because changing demands requires flexibility to change more quickly and more frequently. The no-code platform allows you to do exactly that. It puts you as a customer in control, and it opens up the possibility for long-term value creation in many dimensions. Currently, we're working with established companies in Sweden and internationally. A good example of that is Svegon, the HVAC manufacturer here in Sweden. Colmorgan, manufacturing of motors and drives over in the United States. And we also have some of the fastest growing manufacturers on the planet as our customers, including Polarium here in Sweden, for instance. So the question and the challenge to all of you out there is, what will you make better next? And thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much, Oscar. Was there anything about an announcement you should mention as well? Or?
Oh yes, we say that to the end, didn't we? Yeah, so we're very, very proud and humbled, of course, to announce that we now have a partnership with our sponsor of the day, EFESO, and Tobias and his crew here in Sweden. I think it'll be fantastic. They will be able to leverage the power of this no-code manufacturing platform to help their customers do a data-driven continuous improvement work. So everything that Tobias and the guys at EFESO are doing extremely well, they will now hopefully be able to do even a little bit better and take some of the detailed guesswork out of the equation.
Great. So do we have any questions? Let's see here. What is the side of integration? What is the side of integration to different software interfaces?
Sorry, say that again.
What is the side of integration to different, I think it's size of integration, maybe, to different software interfaces? How hard is it to integrate with other software, I guess?
So we take our general approach is that we make things as simple as we can, but as complicated as we have to. So it really depends on what your needs are. We were able to technically deploy this platform, including integrations to things like ERP and PLM and machines in the matter of a week. It really depends on what you need. So we have integrations to all of the large ERP and PLM vendors out there, and it's usually pretty quick.
I have many questions for you now, so we have to wrap.
Okay, shoot.
What does the no code actually mean? How do you adapt to different devices, machines, and databases without any coding?
Well, we've done a lot of coding in the background so that you don't have to. The way that is done is we have a bunch of tools, and we really need to show it, but I have a bunch of tools that allows you to do this by pointing and clicking and dragging and dropping. We also read from an EFESO system or an environment of PLCs and sensors, whatever it might be, in quite intricate and smart ways, such that it brings up all of this stuff in a ready interface. You kind of have to see it to understand it, but it allows you to do it.
How fast do you get going in real life? First time you step into a floor somewhere, a shop, what kind of times are we talking about for the setting up and integration and so forth?
So the way we typically do it is that when we attack a new factory, we have a process, what we call pre-boarding. Usually run that for 2 weeks or so, where we define all the flows, we define the IT environment that we're going into, we establish whether it's going to be an on-prem or a cloud deployment, and we do all of that kind of stuff, the preparation. Technical deployment on site is typically sort of 5 days, where we finish the integrations, we do some of the machine integration, we train the people online in the factory on how to use the system, and then it's up and running. Not in the entire factory necessarily, but in a big enough area for it to matter. What we do after that is that we do an onboarding process. That's the hardest part, because that's not technology, that's people. That's when it gets really difficult, right? And that's when we help the customer spread this to other areas of the factory, such that by the end of the onboarding period, they'll be able to run this themselves.
One last question, my friend. What investment round are you raising? How much and who is leading?
We're fortunate to have a bunch of very good investors. They include ABB and as well as an American industrial conglomerate called UltraMotion, as well as a few unnamed but very, very supportive angel investors. So we're now currently in between A and B. We did an A round about a year ago for $7 million. And we are probably doing a B round, let's call it 12 months from now.
Great. We have to stop there, Oscar. Thank you so much.